Hello and welcome to another Geordie Giant Veg. Sorry I'm a bit quiet lately. I was supposed to do a video last week, but with all the rain I didn't manage to get down to the allotment, so I've still got tons to do. I'm way behind. I should really have stuff planted out by now, but I just haven't had a chance. Today I'm going to be finishing the polytunnel ready for the cover, and we've got one more loop to go on this front bit. I'm going to be getting the green netting all around the sides ready for the cover to go on. I've just finished the roof of this off. Here are the last two, if you can see them, the last two runs after when I cut my thumb open. It's healing nicely anyway. In the greenhouse, all these giant onions really need to be going out. My leeks are all doing well, even though it's been getting to some really high temperatures in here. All the other onions, I'll show you at the back here. The quality onions, they should have went out. They're going in a trench, same with them ones. I've got strawberries to plant. I've got this little dampener thing here, which I'm going to be putting on to my window. I've got loads of other strawberry plants there, which I'm going to be putting in a bed today. I've got these tomatoes what need to be potted on. I've got these little leeks in here, they need to be potted on. The gooseberries are all starting to bush up now. They're going to be fantastic. I can't wait for them. Yeah, so I've got lots to do. I've got soaker hoses to put in place. I've bought a few more of them. I've got all my my dripper rings to put in place when I've got all my Airpots made up. Got my onion supports ready for it to go in there with the new canes to support the onions. I've got these, which I thought would be a great idea. They're sorry about the sunlight. The artificial grass pins, the big U's. What I'm going to use them for is to peg out the soaker hoses in the trenches, so they'll keep their uniform where I want them to sit. And I've bought some extensions here, which will, sorry about the sunlight, which will connect all the hoses up. So when I connect the hose to the end of it, it'll pump out all the water wherever I need it. I've got my other water bowsers up the top there ready for to go into the tunnel also when I've done the inside of that, ready for to put the leeks in the onions. I'm also going to be trying a couple of kohlrabi if they come through anyway. I've just planted some seeds. I know I'm behind a bit, but I'm going to be trying a few of them in airpots inside the tunnel. So yeah, there's lots to be going on. I've got my big water bowser filled up here. This is a 400 litre flexi tank, so I can fit a timer on here if I wanted, if I'm away, and that will release water, and I can make it go around here and into this tunnel what I'm building here, where the soaker hose is, because I'll have leaks in there. So if I'm away, I can just put the timer on there. Same as in the tunnel, I'll have a timer on the big water bowser in there with the nutrient, which will be feeding all the drippers. But I'll show you all that when I've got it up and running, and exactly how I've done it in a bit. So stay tuned, I'll show you how I get on at the end of the day. I'll see you again in a minute. I don't know if you can hear us, but at the minute I finished the path inside the polytunnel, and I'm just rotavating either side with some fertilizers in, and I'll show you how I finish it in a minute. Hello, welcome back. Okay, so what I've done is so far is just to show you, I've just about finished the polytunnel. I've got a couple other bits and bobs to do before the cover goes on. Just checking about, see no one's watching, don't want to embarrass anyone. I'll show you in the polytunnel, show you what I've done. Okay, so in here, I walk up the top, it's easier to explain. In here what I've done is I've made a little area for the door to open into. I'll be weed suppressing the gnat off and putting gravel in, and I've done a path all the way up the middle of the polytunnel. I've pegged it either side, as you can see, and bordered it, and I've just rotavated both the sides all the way up the top along here, as you can see, and back down. So it's all rotavated, leveled off. I've got my fertilizers and stuff in the trenches ready to go. But sorry if I'm a bit sniffy, I've been sweating working. On this side I'm going to be putting a nutrient tank down the bottom here. I'm going to be building like a bit of platform for it to sit on here, so it's got the height, because it's going to be gravity feeding me onions. It'll sit up here, I would imagine. Hopefully it's not higher than the actual polytunnel itself. Sorry about the blur. And down this side I'll be putting in rows of 2 the Airpots all the way up. We'll see how many I'll be able to get in here. I'm not sure how many. I'm hoping about 20, but we'll see. And then I'll see how much room I've got left for onions and stuff like that, because I'll be putting onions in this side, as well as I might get some leeks in there. But I'll be putting another frame up, as if you can see this one over here with the loops on, the white loops. The cover, I'll be going over that. There'll be leeks going in there. I'll be putting another frame around the one next to it, the same as that, and I think I'll be putting leeks in there if I've got enough. And this frame here will be getting quality onions in. This one here, at the moment, I've got those, as you've seen before, I've got those strawberry plants in there. I've got the rooted plants just soaking in water there. They've got to soak them for a couple of hours, and I'll be planting them out in here today. Hopefully they'll get plenty of roots started off, and I'll be able to get some fruit this year. This side I'll be clearing all this wood away, because I'll be planting marrows out here. Not for a while yet, I haven't started my marrows off. They'll be getting started in the next couple of weeks. I've got a big gap down the back side of this polytunnel here, and I think I'm going to I might be able to squeeze a pumpkin in there. I'm going to see if I can grow a pumpkin all the way up the inside of here and set a huge pumpkin over here for it to try and grow. Might not happen, but we'll see. You never know. Over here it needs weeding a bit, but I'll be growing dahlias in here this year. And like I said on my last video, here's my little herb garden that the last owner had, and it seems to be growing quite well, so I'll be probably using those herbs. Over here the rhubarb has absolutely kicked in. It looks like at one point it was a massive rhubarb patch, because it's really thrown out some stalks there. So I think we're going to get some fertilizer around that to give it a bit of a hand, because it might be struggling where that is. But I've been told off the last guy that there was a huge pile of pigeon shite in here, pardon the French, and that all the soil should be absolutely fertile. So I need to get the weed suppressant in my little path and get some gravel. I don't think I'll get the same gravel as what I've got out there. I might just get white gravel or something like that in here for it to help reflect the light off, to stop the ground heating up as much. I'll be putting black and white mylar down, but in 2 minutes I'm going to be putting me soaker hoses in with what I'll show you. 2 seconds. I bought some soaker hoses. Each one of these, like this is going to be a leak trench. This will be getting a soaker hose in. They weren't expensive. They were £8 for a 15-meter length soaker hose. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin them out where I want to keep them with these fake grass nails. So I'll just plop them in over the top of the hose and get it pegged out exactly where I want it, so I can just plug in. I think I showed you before though with this little adapter, and then I'm laughing. I've got peas to put out, so I've got all sorts going on. I'm sweating like a fat bird in a cake shop, but I need to start training a bit more, put on a canny bit of weight over the winter, as you do if you're a bit of a bird, hibernate, eat loads over Christmas without training. That's what I do every year. I seem to lose weight through the year and then put it all back on at Christmas, but I'm getting too old for it to give a shit now, really, to be honest. So yeah, that's what's going on. Join us again in a few minutes and I'll show you what I've done with the soaker hoses, and hopefully I'll have some Airpots in position, and I'll show you what I want to do with them with dripper rings, etc. Hello and welcome back. Okay, I fitted my first soaker hose into the trench. I've left it sticking out here so I don't have to go into the trench if I want to water it. I just connect it to this little point here, and I've got it pegged out inside. As you can see, the soaker hose will be coming all the way around this trench, up here, round that, and all the way back down, and it ends here. There will be a bit of a gap over here, but I'm sure if anything starts looking deficient over there, if this hose isn't seeping enough water out, I could maybe bring it a bit further into the centre, and it will give them sufficient water. But I'm planning on putting some pots over here anyway, so it won't really matter, because I'm going to be hand watering those few pots there. This is the main trench where I'll be getting my onions and stuff put in here. I'll be putting black and white mylar over the top, like I said, but I'm going to plug it in, show you how it works. Saves a lot of hassle. I haven't got my little extended hose here. All you do is you just plug it in there, and as you can see, all the way up with the hose, it's squirting out right at the end, so it's seeping out there, and right at the end of the hose, same again, seeping out there. So if you can see, it's fantastic really. It'll just, all the little jets, see these little jets, when the black and white plastic's down, you'll never see it. It'll just keep all the moisture in, and I can just turn that on for 10 minutes every few days, or 15 minutes every few days, and it'll give the ground a good soak, and I won't have to hand water, and I won't have to faff on with all the watering cans, what have you. I just plug my hose into it simply, and it'll water the ground. But on top of that, what's even better, because I don't really want, even though I'm doing it now, but I don't really want chlorinated water going straight into the ground, which will kill all the beneficial bacteria which is in the soil. I've got this little gadget I'll be screwing on to the water source, which is a Go Green from Hydrologic. Does like 8,000 gallons, 2 gallons a minute. It's spot on. Basically it's a filter. I just need to clean it off there because it's a bit dirty. It reduces the chlorine, gets rid of all the chemicals, the sediment and dirt, the rust iron particles, what have you. It's absolutely fantastic for clearing your water if you want to use pure water for your vegetables. So I'll be using that this year anyway. I used it when I filled up this big 400 litre tank here, so all that's been dechlorinated, so I can put beneficial bacteria in, like if you're using the likes mycorrhizal fungi. I'm sorry for stuff on the camera there. If you're using like mycorrhizal fungi, which I will be using when I plant out, put in the bottom of the hole, the chlorinated water will kill the beneficial bacteria in that, so you're wasting your time and your money using mycorrhizal fungi if you're just going to water with water straight from the tap. You're going to, it kills the good bacteria as well as the bad bacteria. That's what it's designed to do, just kills all bacteria, the chlorine. You can wait and put your water in a bucket or what have you and let the chlorine evaporate off, but you'll have to check what sort of water you have in your area, because there's two different types of chlorine. There's the chlorine which will evaporate off when you put it in your buckets, no problem at all, over 24, 48 hours or have you. But there's also called chloramine, which is another chlorine what won't evaporate off. It has to be filtered out. It's in the water no matter what, it doesn't evaporate. So you have to check what type of chlorine is in your water and your area. That's what I'm led to believe anyway, and I've done a little bit of research on it, and that's what I've found out. So in my area I'm lucky enough that I can evaporate the chlorine off, doesn't really matter. But I've got that filter, Go Green filter, which is fantastic and saves us a lot of bother. But yeah, I'll be, as if you can see, the dripper hoses there, they're just soaking the water into the ground. Great idea, great invention if you ask me. It's going to save a lot of bother. Just plug it straight in there and it's going to water my leeks and onions for us without any issues. Down here I'll be putting my system in soon. I'm going to get me Airpots made up and get them planted out in 2x2s, a bit like Noah's animals. And I'll be getting the nutrient tank here on a platform higher up because it's going to be gravity fed. It will be on a little battery timer so I can fill this tank up with nutrients. I'll show you again shortly though. You can just fill it up with nutrients and it'll feed it for us when I'm not here. But I will, however, need to come and water me plug-in my soaker hoses. So the same thing will be happening here. I know I keep repeating myself, but the same thing will be happening in here. Soaker hose will be going in here with the corner just sticking out the end there. I need to replace the wood in this. I'll be doing that today if I get time. And the same will be happening with this one. Soaker hoses up and down, black and white Milo over the top, nice and neat, nice and clean, white reflective material reflecting back on the plants, so the soil temperatures don't get too high. And I'll be putting the plastic over the top. Basically these are just going to be mini polytunnels, 1, 2 and 3, and I'll be getting my strawberries out today hopefully. But yeah, I'm cracking on. I'm starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel now. I've still got loads to do, like, don't get me wrong. If you can see, I've 3 big dumpy bags, just did this top section here and down to here. I've still got all these bits to gravel, all this, so I've got plenty more getting on. I've got to get all this dug over. I'm still thinking I'm going to build a frame over this because I'm going to be growing my Cornish giant cabbages in here. I'm thinking I'm going to weed suppressant it and cut the hose out where I will be putting my cabbages in, just so I'm not going to get any weed problems. And again in here I'll be putting a dripper hose, just a big loop, because I'll be growing cabbages down the centre. I'm just going to be putting a big loop of the hose all the way up and round and down, and that'll water the cabbages underneath the weed suppressant for us. Less hassle, completely, you know, it's going to save us a lot of time and effort putting these soaker hoses in. I know they're £8 each or £8.99 each, but for the sake of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, 50 quid's worth at the start of the season underneath all the weed suppressant. It's going to stop us having to weed it all, get watering can after watering can, getting in the trenches. You know, I could just, everything's going to be in the trench, and if I want to feed anything, if anything's deficient, then I can attach the hoses to the soaker hoses and gravity feed some CalMag or some nutrients or what have you, if I think things need a bit of a boost, and I could just do it that way and gravity feed it. So yeah, that's cracking on. I'm going to get on now and try and get a lot more finished, but I'm like I say, I'm starting to see the end of the tunnel. I'm going to get me Airpots in there now and see if I can get that system rigged up with my drippers, because each one of the, sorry for babbling on, but I've got loads going on. I've made these dripper rings, so each one of these dripper rings, I know it's really bright, sorry, I'm trying to get out the light. Each one of these dripper rings, if you can see, they've got tiny little holes in. I don't know if you can see it there, but zoom in. Anyway, it's got little holes in there, and these dripper rings will just sit on top of the Airpots, linked together with a bit of hose, with cross sections all the way down, and it'll just be gravity fed from a big nutrient tank at the top. So I'm going to get them in now. Join us again in another minute or so when I've hopefully got them all placed out, and I'll find out how many I'm going to be able to get in there. So see you again in a minute. Hello and welcome back. As you can see, I've been busy. I've got all the Airpots in. I've managed to squeeze 18 up here. I did 120, but I've decided not to put another 2 on the end so I can get some leaks along the back there. As I was saying before, I've got my soaker hose in here sorted out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to extend that bit of hose there and bring it all the way up, just so I can get the whole bed wet. But it's worked there. You can see where I'm going to have gravel in these this middle path here. I've had the soaker on for a bit, and it's totally saturated the ground after a while. I've put the header tank, I know it's hard to see, 2 seconds, I'll go outside, it'll be better for us to show you. What I've done is I've got the header tank in place here, and I've filled it with water, not very far, just as an example. And on here I've got a timer which is battery run, so I can set it to whatever I want. 72 hours for 10-minute feed, 5-minute feed, what have you. And it, as you can see here, it's just gravity fed from the big tank here down. This turns on. There's a sediment filter here which is just for to stop the shit blocking up the rings, but they'll drip through like this, as you can see. each one of the little holes on the dripper rings, they'll drip through and feed all the plants. So I'll give you a look from the top end. So in the 18 Airpots I've got there, a 60 litre Airpots, and what's special about these Airpots is they are potato towers, believe it or not, potato towers. And what you get with these potato towers, which I think is better, you get a higher, the holes aren't cut out right at the top. Normally you get 3 or 4 of these nodules which aren't cut off, and then they start getting cut off further down. That's for to allow water to penetrate the soil without it drying out quickly. They start a lot further down half the pot, so it's going to allow the medium inside to stay a lot wetter, get a lot wetter, off this dripper system. But yeah, I'm happy with it. It took us all day to get it all sorted out. I've got it all the way I want it. Sorry, I'm a bit sniffy. It's a bit blustery here, and I've been working and I've got the sniffs. But in here, I've brought some of the bags down with us. It's a cocoa coke mix by a company called Mills. You'll be hearing a lot. Sorry, that's the one there. Mills DNA Ultimate Coke, manufactured by Mills. You'll be hearing a lot more about this Mills because sorry about that. I didn't realise that my battery had cut off. You'll be hearing a lot more about Mills because I'll be using it this year for to feed all my stuff. Like I'll be pHing and putting the Mills feed in the header tank there, and I'll be feeding my other stuff like my cabbages and my marrows and stuff like that. They'll all be getting Mills feed this year. So thanks for watching. I've got all sorts left to do here, loads of tidying up to do, stuff to put away. If you're wondering how much these Airpots were, they are quite expensive. Well, the potato towers, they are quite expensive. They're something around the 15 quid each mark. So they're not the cheapest, but I believe they're going to be very beneficial for what I'm using, like in this dripper system. And obviously then you've got the added expense of the barrel and the timer. This timer is fantastic. I'll just show you. It's just two AAA batteries, and it has all the settings on. I'll just turn it off. All the settings you need. That's it turning off there, so that means the ball valve inside is just changed over, and it's not going to allow any more water to go through, even though I've turned that tap off. But that's a great bit of kit. I'm going to be using that for the feed, so if for any reason I can't get down on the night time, I'm busy at work or what have you, I don't have to worry so much because the pots will be getting watered anyway. As for like not having to come down for to water these beds, there'll be substantial moisture already in the beds, which won't really affect the plants that much if I miss a day or two, whereas these pots can dry out reasonably quick, so you've got to be on the ball with them as far as that's concerned. This table I've built for to put this header tank on, it might just look like I put this little leg on, but actually that leg is 2 foot into the ground, and then I've got like this bench, and it's also secured to the back of this bit of timber here, so that's not going anywhere when it's full. That's pretty much it. I was going to put the green mesh on the bottom, but I'm not going to. I've got 40 odd strawberry plants. They've been soaking in this bucket for an hour, right, a couple of hours now. I'm going to plant them out now, get them in the ground. I've also got another 18 of these strawberry plants to go out. I'm doing 2 varieties, so these will be going out. These are sorry, let's find what kind they are. They're El Santa. They look very healthy anyway. Loads of new growth in the greenhouse. I haven't had any lights on, any heat on in the greenhouse for the last 14 days. Well, 10 to 14 days. I've had to put this bit of green mesh up outside, if you can see, because the light's been really hammering the giant onions. They all look a bit scrappy. I'm really against it at the minute, trying to get everything sorted with work and what have you. I need to get everything out. All these quality onions should be out by now in a trench which is built. I need the cover on my trench. These leeks are all starting to look really good. A couple of them were all twisted and were buckled, but I've been turning them with the sun sort of thing. When they've been leaning, I've been turning them around and letting them lean back and what have you. And they've kind of, sorry about that, they've kind of corrected themselves. They're starting to straighten up a bit there. So what I'm doing is I've got 6 Cumbrians here, leeks. They're going to be going in the big Airpots. And I'm going to be growing something called kohlrabi. I'm going to be growing 2 of them in Airpots. If you don't know what they are, they're a bit of a weird vegetable, like a bulbous, kind of like a cabbagey. They're hard to explain. Anyway, you need to Google it, kohlrabi, and have a look at that. That's if the seeds germinate anyway. Yeah, I've just got to get all these strawberries planted now, get everything tidied up, and then I'm heading off home. I'm desperate to get these giant onions in the trenches. I'm desperate to get the cover on the polytunnel, this cover on this one. Desperate to get the next frames made. I need to move the timber. I'm going to be chitting the giant marrow seeds and starting them off in the shop. And I'm also going to be doing the giant pumpkin as well. I've got a few big seeds for that, so I'm going to give that a bash as well. But apart from that, everything is tickety-boo really. I just need to get everything out. Not enough hours in the day, but now the later nights are starting to come in. I can come after work and it's now pitch black, and I can finally get things sorted out after graft as well. So thanks for watching. I'll see you again on the next one.